Chibuzo. Please, Mr. Collins, can you indicate if you're here with us? Also, let's see your face. Mr. Collins, thank you for joining us. Can we just see your face, Mr. Collins? Okay, thank you very much for joining us, sir, on this section. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We also have here that's Professor Alessandra Desane. Professor Alessandra, we also like to see you to be sure that you're here. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof. Good afternoon, Professor Alessandra. Can you hear us?
Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you
Okay,
so
perfect.
much. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time. And we appreciate, we're both to have a wonderful section with you. At this point, I'm going to be handing over to the moderator today. Of course, I'm not going to be the moderator for this section today. However, I'm going to be handing over to, that is Shobande Kende. Kende, thank you so much for joining us. And again, I'd like to also introduce myself once again. My name is Alabaolu Afunke, and I'm the head of service at Rome Business School, Nigeria. Please enjoy yourself and have fun. Also, if you have questions regarding the section today, always feel free to drop it in the comment sections as we'll take them after the presentation from the various speakers. Thank you so much. So at this point, I'm going to be handing over to Kende. Thank you, Kende.
Thank you very much, Ms. Funke. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Spotlight program of Rome Business School, exploring agribusiness opportunities and insights. Indeed, my name is Shobande Kende. I'm a warehouse manager with FS Commodity Exchange. I must say it's my pleasure to moderate this very important program today. And the program is brought to you by Rome Business School, which is here to ensure that we learn more from professionals who have been in the field for years. Without wasting more time, I will go right away. I would like to introduce our speakers today. And the first person I will introduce is no other person but Professor Alessandra. Professor Alessandra has been the Secretary General of the National Institute for Rural Sociology, a non-governmental organization which is based in Italy, and its evolution. She is a partner of a consulting company for changing, with particular focus on changing management, digital transformation, and green transition. Indeed, she has collaborated with a lot of universities in Italy, and also with Rome Business School as a professor of management and business organization. A professor in 2020, together with our colleagues, brought out a research in the agri-food sector, published a guide to help companies that are operating in food business to create a model that works for them. Professor has a lot of things to add. At this time, I would like to introduce Professor Alessandra. Welcome very much, ma'am. Welcome to this great program.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Let me go further to introduce Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins has over 20 years experience in the finance services and agribusiness sector, where he had involved in and has frontline responsibility for several changes and business and transformation and projects. Mr. Collins is a certified Six Sigma professional. Indeed, he He is a member of the American Society for Quality and of the International Institute for Business Analysis. Mr. Collins holds a Bachelor in Technology from the Maritime Management Technology from Federal University of Technology, Owerri. He also holds an MBA in Production and Operation Management from the University of Lagos. Mr. Collins is an alumni of the Pan-African University, where he undertook senior management and a whole lot more. Indeed, it's a privilege to have you here, Mr. Collins. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shubhande. Nice having you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you very much. And without more ado, I would like Professor Alexander to go ahead
Okay.
with her presentation. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. And thank you for this opportunity. I'm very happy to participate in this webinar. I have not prepared a structured presentation, but only some slides in order to support the topic that I will address today. Let me share my screen. Condividi schermo. See you my presentation? Okay, can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay. This is the topic that we will address today, skills that we need in order to create a success firm in agricultural environment, the sustainability, the important role that sustainability have in the agriculture, not only, of course, but in order to create a sustainable business model for our farm, and the opportunity that we have in our sector. Let me say a few words about the National Institute of Rural Sociology. The institute, founded in 1959 by Giuseppe Medici and other distinguished personalities from Italian economic agricultural science. The main scope of INSOR is to study the social changes, their origin, and the impacts of these changes on the rural territories. The Institute first identified the economic importance of the human factor within farm, and since 1976, it has been committed to safeguarding and promoting typical Italian products, and not only. The Institute, based in Rome and houses the Giuseppe Medici Library, which has become part of the SBN network and the network of the Cultural Institutes of Rome. Thanks to our experience, we often have an active role in the national and international projects. For several years, we have been working with our partner on a big data analysis in order to identify changes in the lifestyle of consumer and farmers. We think that through the analysis of data, it's possible to identify the changes taking place in the relationship and business model, and to design new form of collaboration within different subjects. I don't know if I can go ahead and speak about the skills, or you prefer to realize the webinar as a a discussion with us. It's dependent from what do you prefer.
You can go ahead, Ma. You can go ahead and do it.
Perfect.
Anyway, yes, Ma, we are happy. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Hard and soft skills for agribusiness. As you know, every industry requires specialized set of skills, and agriculture is no exception, of course. There are several career opportunities available in agriculture, including, but not limited, of course, engineering, science, data science, finance, and work in general. Also in agriculture, it is important to identify and talk about the hard and soft skills. I think that among the skills that all professionals in agriculture should have for continuous success are both. As a hard skill, I would mention monitoring and evaluation in agriculture, technological skills, knowledge on the value chain, business model, circular economy, big data, and open data analysis. As a soft skills, I would mention the interpersonal skills and time management and organization skills. I will spend a few words for each of these competencies. Monitoring and evaluation in agriculture. Agricultural professionals, I think, should have the knowledge on how to make efficient agricultural policies to enable them to address the growing demand for sustainable food and nutrition. Today, the agricultural sector is facing various unforeseen situations, such as climate change, the still ongoing pandemic, and war. It's very important that a professional working in this sector is able to address the issues of increasing production capacity, improving the resilience of their company to market shocks. We need to train farmers who can evaluate and use agricultural policies to improve their business. Having good skills in monitoring and evaluation in agriculture can better use of available resources and design concrete and sustainable development strategies. Technological skills. I'm an expert in top technology skills, but one should ensure that at least you are in a position to understand the technology in relation to agriculture. The ability to apply technology in irrigation, cultivation techniques, harvesting, storage, and transportation in the agriculture industry is vital. At least farm owners or farm operators should know the potential of new technologies and how such technologies can be applied to the production processes. Today, agriculture is facing many challenges, such as extreme weather conditions and increasing demand. Technology can help us. For example, in livestock monitoring, smart greenhouses use agricultural drones for precision farming, crop management system, and others. Almost every aspect of agriculture is increasingly being driven by technology. You need to know technological development in order to benefit from it. Knowledge on value chain, business model, and circular economy. Today, the agricultural market is global. Agricultural practices and consumption patterns have changed. As a result, knowledge of the value chain is a great skill for every agricultural professional. It is essential to know the production processes and how to create value for the stakeholder with the key partners. It's very important to understand the related activity that are involved in the added value of a product, as well as the actor involved and the activities through which the product is improved. Globalization offers different opportunities for expanding our business in international markets, and agriculture plays a key role in ensuring sustainable development. Every agricultural professional should be able to assess his or her role and position within value creation and how to design a sustainable business model consistent with the production chain. In addition, every developed country should look for ways to improve the value chain so as to increase the income of smallholder farmers. For this to be possible, all players should have sufficient knowledge about the value chain. The ability to extract value from data, internal data or external data as big data, plays a key role in increasing the competitiveness of our companies. Anticipating the market, understanding customer needs, knowing our competitors and their strengths and weakness help us to be stronger and achieve our business goal. Interpersonal skills is a very interesting soft skills because many jobs to work with others. Supply chain manager, for example, must interact with farmers who produce raw materials and deliver those goods to other clients. You get able to build business relationship, negotiate, and engage with all the people in the farming, from client and supplier to government, is critical to longer-term success. Time management and organization skills. Begin organize and able to manage your time well means begin able to manage your business well and whole planning your time and your activity even most complex. What are the skills? The skills is not a new skills, but is the part of the skill that we need to address, to improve in order to manage the actual situation. Usually, I use the UNIDO sentence. UNIDO is the agency of the United Nations that promotes inclusive and sustainable global development. The skills are the knowledge, abilities, values, and attitudes needed to live in, develop, and support a sustainable and resources-efficient society. I like to propose the definition because I think that since 2015, when the United Nations has taken the Agenda 2030, it is the first time that we have a common guideline to refer to sustainability issues. By now, most countries have recognized the importance of the transition to more sustainable modes of production and consumption. Many have also taken concrete steps toward greening the economy and increasing environment awareness, but very few countries are developing training and retraining plans consistent with the needs of green transition. This approach is wrong. It really requires people who are able to develop, maintain, and use new technology and leaders capable of leading sustainable organization. It will be women and men with the right skills who will take the right decision in order to realize a real and concrete change. When we talk about the green transition, it is not just environmental specialists that are required, but the idea is that any job can become greener. Transforming job green ones is a priority for our future. What are the key elements of a sustainable resource efficient society? But of course, it's important that we can use the Earth's limited resources in the best way. It's important that we can design a growth strategy able to create economic, social, and environment value. And it's important that we can promote sustainable consumption and sustainable behavior. Okay. I think that we can spend some word about how change the agribusiness firm and which kind of economy, which kind of different factor can drive the economy. In terms of economic development, economies can be classified into three main categories: factor driving, efficiency driving, and innovation driven. Factor-driven economies are the economies that do not create knowledge for innovation, and self-employment rates are expected to be high in no agricultural sector. Driven is mainly on increasing economic performance by using natural resources and promoting external investment. In this situation, companies are involved in price competition and in the use of unskilled labor. In efficiency-based economies, economic growth occurs through the addition of value to primary production. In this type of economics, production efficiency methods help to work better. The higher the level of education and the ability to use existing technology, the more opportunities there are to lead to competitiveness. However, in this type of economy, the level of leadership and vision is generally low. Innovation-driven economies are synonymous with the development of new products and services. The transition from product development to services development is made to meet new needs of the new client, In this type of economy, companies produce innovative products through new technology, and innovation is the only way for companies to survive. In the past, this type of economy was mainly based on the development of the industrial sector. Today, the agricultural sector can be playing a key and fundamental role in the development and competitiveness of a country. In this scenario, the startup have a key role. Using new technology, they can develop innovative services and create new competitive value. The institute, the INSOR, beginning in 2015, began testing and methodology the process of evolution and has developed a data analysis platform intended to spin off an open development community to accelerate the understanding of digital trends in real time, including in the commercial sector and at the global level. Today, we talk about multifunctional agriculture. It's a generic term used to indicate companies that combine their agricultural production and the environment with service to society. Care agriculture, in agriculture, they care, agritourism, and others. The key to this service in the relationship between, increase the relationship between farm and consumer. In other words, multifunctional agriculture is the connection of agriculture to the society. Another very important topic that I try to address today is the sustainability. Sustainability, okay. The Agenda 2030 opportunity. We think that is the first time that we have a common guideline at the world level. We can see the 70 SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, has a coherent set of goals on which to work and to the interaction between individuals and community. As we know, the concept of sustainability agriculture is very big. It's ambiguous, and it's very difficult to implement the concept of sustainable agriculture. As we said before, the concept of sustainable agriculture is mainly based on economic, social, and ecological perspective. The sustainability of an organization requires capacity for change, innovation, and consistency with the surrounding environment. So we thought of a practical approach to sustainability. To summarize our approach, we think that starting from the history and agronomic context and current situation will allow us to design an excellent, innovative, sustainable, and measurable
I want to believe we lost.
Sorry,
Okay.
I lose my connection. Hello? Hi. Hello?
Hello, can you hear you?
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay, now yes. Condivido. Oh, a moment, please. Okay. 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 As I said before, I suggest to use the SDGs to create a competitive advantages. SDG competitive model is a strategic planning tool, is a framework based both on the SDGs and the business model. The model helps the management to make a self-assessment on the sustainability of their company in a few quick steps, operate with a reclassification of the SDGs according to the business activities. We are divided we are identified three different levels where we can reorganize the SDGs. Level 1, key goals. They are the goals with the greatest relevance to the activities carried out by operating in the agricultural sector. As you see, the goal 2, of course, no hungry. The goal 12 and 15. In the level 2, complementary goals, they are goals that are not strictly linked to agri-food sector, but that can become a source of the new opportunity if currently inserted in our business model. In the level 3, we put the horizontal goals. They are goals at more institutional goals and not strictly linked with the firm activity. Why we named our tools competitive model? In order to create competitive advantages, a company must be able to assess its competitive strength and weakness, define the strategic competitive advantage, and identify the key action that they need to address in order to realize and achieve its goal. If we integrated the business goals with the SDGs, with the sustainable business goals, we can design and create a strategy, a business model, a sustainable strategy, and not only a business strategy. In this way, we can reduce the complexity of the 70 goals, and because you know that the 70 SDGs are interconnected, but for every people, every company, every firm, is very important to understand which are the key goals that can change its business model. Of course, it's impossible that a single firm can address every SDGs. It's important to understand which kind of contribute we can to realize for Agenda 2030. In the level 1, for example, we put zero hunger, the goal 2, providing food and humanitarian relief, establish sustainable food production, responsible consumption and production, the goal 12. Life on the land, the goal 15. Are, of course, for a firm, for the agricultural sector, is the core of our work, okay? In order to realize a sustainable business model, we can use this kind of classification. It's important that we identify our priority, our business goals, translate global goals and challenge into concrete action. Which kind of action we can put in place in order to achieve our goals, assess the economic, social, and environment impact, and identify the key resources and the skills that we need in order to realize this kind of activities. The key performance indicator and the sustainable indicator can help us to measure the impact of our activities, of our business, of course. The key as you know, when we talk about the key performance indicator, we are usually referring to the metrics that we can apply in order to understand what is the impact, and if we are work well. If revenue trembles and the cost rise, agricultural company go out of business. It's important to understand the situation. Usually, the key performance indicator measure the increased productivity, the level of the profit, if we can save time on our program, which level of innovation we have in our firm. The concept of sustainable agriculture is mainly based on economic, social, and ecological perspective. We can use the sustainable indicator in order to define, to measure our impact. The sustainable indicator, the key sustainable indicator are like the carbon neutrality, carbon footprint, water footprint. And if we realize the integration between business goals and SDGs, we can measure measure the impact of every the total action that we put in place in order to achieve our goal. The sustainable indicator defined for firm will be used both to monitor the impact generated and relevant to the environment, and we can use them in order to tell to our customer our approach, and it could be used as a marketing message to the market, to the client, and to the and to the government too. Okay. I don't know if you have any question for me.
Yes, ma'am. We do have a lot of questions, but after the presentation, we'll give room for question. Okay, so at this time, I would like to welcome Mr. Collins for his presentation. Mr. Collins, sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so I think I'll just put up my own few slides here. Let me put it up and then. Okay, I think Professor has to go off presentation mode so I can get it.
Okay, sorry.
I'd like to beg your indulgence to wait a bit until Professor is able to stop sharing our slides. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. I don't know if you want to spend a few minutes in order to speak about the agribusiness trend in this moment, and what are the contribute of technology for agribusiness, because usually in the past, when we spoke about the technology, we think at the industrial sector, not in agriculture, which the agriculture 4.0, the situation is that technology and internet are opening a very interesting opportunity for agriculture. The urbanization and the changing diet are calling for new ways to process, market, and consume of our food. The potential benefit from ICT in increasing agricultural labor productivity are not limited to mechanization. ICT also helps improve agronomic practice by facilitating extension, and it increases farmers' access to markets, old and new markets. Better market access and higher prices will in turn foster the adoption of productivity, enhancing technology to increase suppliers. This opens up important perspective for rural to raise their income in agriculture. Some opportunities are further emerging within urban areas themselves. You think about the food policies in the smart cities. Food policies is the public policy area concerning the way food is processed and distributed in the supply. And I think for the firm, and not only the big organization, but the small firm too, can participate in the new organization in this kind of different approach, and play a key role in the future of the system, of the food policy system, and in the growth of the city too.
Okay, Professor, I would like to appreciate you for your time. We'll come back to you after Mr. Collins' presentation. Mr. Collins, please.
Thank you. Thank you, moderator. Again, I have to share my slides, except once you just go on, and when once it's off, I can present, because I can't present right. Okay. Can you enable me to be able to share?
Nulla. Voilà. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Are you able to view my slide?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. My own aim here is to be able to speak to you all about the opportunities that exist in the agribusiness space, and give you some insights as to how to go about exploring these opportunities. But to be able to do that, the first thing we should do is analyze the value chain and see where these opportunities lie and how we can take advantage of them. Okay. And typically, if you look at the chain, it all starts with every country does investment with respect to research. Sometimes the private sector is also involved in this. Private individuals, a lot of foundations who fund these research centers. Also, universities also involved in research with respect to the agriculture and how to food systems and all. Over the years, it started off initially this silo thinking, the silo mentality, where these research centers and universities just did their own thing. But what's happening now, when you talk about agricultural information systems, you will see an interlink now. The different players, the private sector, these research institutes and centers from the universities are coming together to actually be more innovative and to also adapt these innovations to their own local environment, because innovations are global now. I mean, a lot is going on in different countries, different institutions, and these innovations are being shared. But also adaptation is required to our own local environment. A lot of this happens, and in that sector, I mean, you can also find a lot of opportunities. Government policies will drive, you could find yourself in a place where you have to make policies that can, aid the sector. And when it comes to government policies, it's very critical because, like we all know, the government creates the environment, the enabling environment for agribusiness to thrive. If the environment is not there, then it's very difficult for it to thrive. The government also, because of the critical role that agriculture plays in every economy, the government also has the responsibility to strategically intervene, do that through subsidies. For instance, when they look at the challenge of every particular country, I'll give an example. I think from the 1st of September, 1st of August, a country like Pakistan will be, they have a subsidy program they're doing to be able to encourage players in their encourage mechanization, their agriculture. So up to 50% subsidy is being given for people that want to acquire things like tractors, want to invest in irrigation, other things to aid mechanization. Because the government realizes the ripple effect this kind of policies can happen, can do to the economy. And so government has a role to formulate these kind of policies, protect industries, protect farmers, protect the people employed in this particular sector, which, by the way, most African countries have over 60% thereabout employed in the agri space. So it's a very critical sector to play. So, and then when we come further down, still upstream, we talk about primary production, which is where we find our smallholder farmers playing in, and see a lot in spoken respect to smallholder farmers, how we can improve the lot of smallholder farmer, especially in Africa. In Africa, we have most of the people involved in agriculture playing at this level. And so primary production, which is the core in terms of farming activities in agriculture, I mean, a huge opportunity lies there. Okay, and you can also have, I mean, depending on what your own outlook is, you can also look at being a commercial farmer. Like commercial farms, I want to say from 50 hectares above, there's also a huge opportunity there. And these are the people who also have more funds to play around with. And they're the people who, the technologies Professor spoke about earlier, are more receptive to them. These are the people who, Prophet Caller, you want to ask, or I think at the end of the session, you can just note down, is there something you want to say? See somebody raising his hand, Prophet. We'll go ahead. Hello? Hello?
Mr. Collins, please go ahead.
Okay.
Prophet Kola will get back to you after the presentation. Please write down your question. After the presentation, you have room to ask questions.
Okay, thank you then. Okay, so that's also an area where we can play in. We have also have a lot of interest in because of the sheer volume, the sheer impact that they can have. In Africa, in particular, we have to make a decision. Ask ourselves: do we want to be food secure? We want to have enough food grow enough food for ourselves, or do we want to use that as a tool to solve unemployment? Because commercial farmers, if we strategically focus on them, I mean, the challenge of food security can easily be addressed, because these are people who can produce their very large quantities. There are people who have affinity for embracing the technology that is coming up in the agri space, and it's a huge, huge opportunity. And then we also have a space for cooperative farming, which also attempts to, pull a group of people with similar objectives together. And then because they come together, they're able to, other players in the sector are able to, engage them, because they are cooperative, they are large, so they're able to achieve things on a bigger scale than on a small scale. Some countries like Rwanda has quite elaborate schemes like that. I mean, as far as primary production is concerned, in countries like Rwanda, they've got cooperatives together, so that when processors come in, who don't want to play in the downstream sector, when they come in, they don't have to go worrying about how to get inputs for the factories. There's a link up between them and these cooperatives, who also have access to funds to be able to produce what they require. There's also a huge opportunity with respect to being an input provider. A lot of input is required. We can talk about fertilizers, we can talk about seeds, we can talk about machinery. In the next few slides, I'm going to also elaborate on this. But I mean, the opportunity for input providers when you look at those playing upstream. Then we come midstream, where there's also opportunity for you to be in processing. Okay, and processing is wide in Nigeria, where obviously I'm from. We have our local fabricators are also playing in that space a lot. They probably need a lot of exposure, a lot of training, so that they can make much more durable and much more well-finished products. But nevertheless, they're also playing this space. I see a lot of local equipment being fabricated. And then we have people are also playing in the bigger space. You can also be an equipment manufacturer. Okay, you can also be into equipment supplies. A lot of people also have dealerships, reputable firms outside the country, and because they see a need here and they want to be the representative here, they go over there and they got these deals. You can also play in that sector, bringing in equipment and agri equipment that these farmers and processors need. So I mean, there's a huge opportunity also there. And then when we go further down, from downstream operations, spin-offs from activities upstream and midstream, and then you have players who are into logistics and distribution, branding and packaging. I mean, when we talk of logistics in agriculture, that's a different area. Some call it agri-logistics. You can have the codes, the cold chain logistics, taking care of movements of products, beef and all. Okay, and you can also think about branding. Branding is also something to look into. And then wholesale and retail markets are also, opportunities that exist, picking up groceries and all. And as we also know that the online part to it, people have to create platforms, interactions, easing that friction between farmers and off-takers, and creating markets for different players in this sector. Also, further downstream, you talk about the exports and the import opportunities that exist, training and support. Because in all of these, across these chains, skills have to be developed, the right adequate skill sets for all of this. The machinery being brought in, if you bring in tractors, you need to have the right skills for those that are going to operate them. They're not going to run in isolation. There's going to be adequate training for those operating. So opportunities also exist in terms of formal education for people who are in these sectors, trainings. So I think on the next slide, we'll be able to even speak, go deeper. Also, as the landscape in agriculture is changing, I mean, the speaker before me spoke about climate change, sustainability. These are our current realities. We all know what's going on right now, and everywhere countries are breaking records of, in terms of the temperature and all. So even those who argued about these activities that we've been carrying out that are detrimental to our environment, everybody can see the effect right now. So we have warmer climes, and all this is translating to greater fraud. All these present opportunities for us that we can, explore. Okay, and so environmental sustainability becomes a huge one. Now, I mean, people are coming in; they're beginning to have more education to eat our activities. A lot of products are coming up. People are beginning to preach alternatives to the way the traditional way we've been doing agriculture. People are beginning to preach the SDGs also aligned to this. Your water consumption, you have to look out, more conscious on how you do. People are talking about conservative agriculture, talking about regenerative agriculture. All these are all coming together because everything is changing. In agribusiness, agriculture is not what we used to know. It's not like how our forefathers did. Our forefathers carried out these things. Okay, and also there's a huge. We have global links now. We have countries, everybody is interconnected. And so it's no longer just your local market where you're looking, okay, this is what we want, this is what we do. There are bigger markets out there, platforms to produce in Nigeria, sell wherever. So, global preferences have to now come into consideration. And if you want to do that and move across borders, then you're also talking about global certifications and all. I think one or two of us here already see into this. These are the kind of things that start to come up. How many years down the line now, it wasn't a big issue, but as people begin to push products across different countries, taking advantage of globalization, then these other opportunities begin to come up. Okay? It's important that standards are made to be able to get these goods out. This connection through global value chain, that's what I just spoke to as well. So people increasingly, the world is you're no longer limited to your own environment. You have to think global. The products can be pushed worldwide depending on where these markets are needed. We have platforms where you can get onto and you're able to see where these needs are and take advantage of pushing it to the place. Also, a lot. I was looking at Forbes the other day, and we were talking about the 25 successful ag tech firms. Most of them were playing in the spaces I found that them all playing. Most of them, some were into crop monitoring, big space, evolving because increasingly the number of people working in agriculture are shrinking because of technology. Technology is taking the jobs from direct, number of people on the fields, putting them to other spaces where they can provide support, like technology. Crop monitoring is done remotely, giving us precise and data, because Agriculture is data-driven. Agriculture is a science. These things, people are playing in those spaces, making innovations that are revolutionizing the way that we do agriculture. People I also saw a lot of ag-tech startups that are playing in the field of market linkage, providing platforms that are making farmers to get better pricing for their products, because farmers are able to link up with these platforms. They can get markets further away from where they are. Okay, and then I started with talking about network knowledge, because it's no longer in silos. The information are being shared, between research centers, universities, and then the players that need it. And then adaptations are being made to the local environment, which is very, very important. What works in Brazil might not work in Ghana, and vice versa. There are crops that you have competitive advantage. You wouldn't, you need to do research on them and try to see how you can leverage on that. Okay, so go to the next slide. Also, all these challenges that we talk about that exist in the sector, another way to be able to harness opportunities is to see these challenges as opportunities. Okay, in Nigeria, for instance, our tractorization rate is about 0.27 horsepower per 1,000 square kilometers. The recommendation is 1.5. Some countries are doing as much as 7 horsepower. And that creates opportunity, because what it means is that we are low on mechanization. So, I mean, there's an opportunity for bringing in equipment with respect to that, tractors, harrows, whatever, plows, or also equipment. We can go into equipment leasing and go into the sales of equipment. Right? And some other people can also look at it and go into training for even the equipment handlers, because I can tell you, it's also a huge challenge. Adaptation, I keep talking about adapting, being able to adapt these things to your own local environment, wherever you are. You're in DRC, you're in Kenya, or in Nigeria, you must be able to adapt to your local environment. For instance, in Nigeria, some tractors you will bring in what we call Tier 4 tractors. Our diesel in Nigeria don't even support such tractors. So from one go, you have a lot of the uptime for that tractor will be very, very, very low, because you will have issues because of the higher sulfur content in our diesel. Tier 1 tractors will do well here. So it's up to the local environment, and it's up to the other stakeholders, like the research team and the universities and the private sector, all come together and get to know these adaptations. Size don't fit up. That's the point here. Okay, and then in Nigeria, we also have the challenge of security. And so people are also setting up private security outfits to provide this service on farm. I mean, there's no major farm in Nigeria, no serious farm, use that word, that doesn't have security. It's now part of what you have to build into your economics of production. You can, because of our own peculiarities here, we have, the headsmen, all of that, making security very difficult, farms and all of it. So you need to, it's also an opportunity. I know a couple of places where people already form themselves into groups, and and they're providing that service for a fee. Some have gone into breeding special dogs who are on these farms that can also ward off attackers. So I'm trying to say our challenges, and also your own area, in your own country where you're from, what kind of challenges are you having? And these challenges, what can you do? Could it be solved through technology? Will it be solved through other innovative ways, and these are the things that need to be discussed, because we all know how central agriculture is in the scheme of things. People must eat. For people to eat, we need to go to the farms, we need to go, be it culture, be it livestock, be it crop production, forestry, whichever space we're playing in, these things need to happen, regardless of the challenges. So these are opportunities. And of course, some other challenge we have is the input, the seeds. I mean, it's a huge, huge, huge issue. And one of the factors responsible for our abysmal yield in this part of the world, the quality of seeds that we are able to plant. Recently, I had to do some with respect to maize, analysis with respect to maize. Reputable firm, we go get a sample, and then we do our test. The first observation, because they said it was F1 hybrid maize seedlings, the first observation was that these seedlings were, the sizes and uniformity wasn't there. Some, and which means, because for those of us who are into mechanized farming, which means your seeders would keep a lot, affecting your population. That's where your problem starts from, even from the yield. Okay, and then when we planted it, the germination rate was about 70%. And this is in a controlled environment. So you can imagine what will happen when the environment is not controlled. You have another 10–20% off. That's directly impacting your yield, even before you start talking about other factors that may happen before your harvest time. So these are also opportunities. You come in and say, look, what you're producing is seed. I know research institutes like IITA are doing stuff with respect to cassava seedlings, bringing in what they call seedpreneurs, people who can play on that space. That's what they do, provide quality seedlings. Because if you don't get it right from seeds, then you're going to have an abysmal yield. And this whole thing is all about yield. If you can't get good yield, then you'll be running losses. Don't forget, it's agribusiness. It's no longer agriculture the way we see it. It has to make sense in terms of naira and kobo. Okay? And so the opportunity remains to even going to have a licensed seed company. You need to import it, you need to grow locally, provide that service that's lacking. Okay? Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm still up. Can you still see the slides?
Very well, sir. Very well.
Okay, good,
Yes,
good, good. Okay, I'll go into the next one. And then we also have the challenge here, because I mean, I think my audience is Africa mainly, and that's why everything I'm talking about here is more skewed towards our own challenges here in Nigeria, Africa generally. Seasonal farming. I mean, in developed climes, people are doing 3–4 seasons. Here we're doing 1 season. And why is that? Because even though we have boreholes, even though we have wells, even though we know the technology of machines have been here for as long as, we still have not gotten around being able to year round. Okay, and so irrigation is not what you see here everywhere here. And so of course that will have implication with respect to food security. I was looking at some statistics the other day, and I saw that in Africa, the most food secure countries are the desert countries. People are saying, why is that? The desert countries produce more food than the countries where you have longer rain. Why? Because they've embraced irrigation farming from the start, onset. They realized that, look, we need to grow food and we can't grow food anyway. So we need to think irrigation, because they thought irrigation, they're producing far more than those of us who live in areas where we have rainfall. And because we're doing one cycle. And they are doing cycles all year round. And of course, you know, the yield even under irrigation is even far higher than what you have. So it's an opportunity as well. You can look at it, you can look at greenhouses, that controlled environment. That shows that you're producing virtually all year round. You can also intervene. We're losing over 50% of whatever the little that we're able to grow, we're losing over 50% post-harvest losses. Opportunities exist. You can think about warehousing so that people can have, I think our moderator works in one of these firms too that provide warehousing facilities, commodities exchange, you know, platforms. It's also an opportunity because the smallholder farmer, which constitutes most of our farmers, don't have the means, or in a way that these things can stay. The shelf life is shorter because they don't have the means to store it. So you can play in that space as an opportunity for you. Technologies have existed for so long in preserving food, and most of them certified to be good. The other day I was listening yesterday or so, and we were talking about the use of gamma rays in preservation. There are lots of opportunities. It can even be, there are things as simple as there's some drums, things like that, made by, I think it was this food arm of the UN, what's an acronym now? World Food Organization, if there's anything like that. So they have World Food Program, WFP. Yeah, I think it was in Uganda. It was in Uganda or Rwanda. Prototypes are shown to us, have storage of grains and all. Simple, and these are cheap and affordable. You know, these are spaces we can play in. Because if you're into warehousing, remember, if you have done one or two courses in supply chain management, when you talk of inventory management in supply chain, warehousing is also a means to be able to control prices. So there's a huge opportunity that lies in there. And then I spoke about market linkage. Market linkage is very important. People assume that because other people can sell products, you see people selling products, you say, okay, you can sell. I see people going to farming, they produce a lot, they don't even know where to sell it. I think market linkage is very, very important. Different platforms are being created, narrowing the gap between farmers and users, between primary production and where the market is. And so I believe that with all what we've gone from beginning, trying to look at all sides to the chain, to the agri chain, you can see a lot, and there are a lot more places I have not even highlighted. There's a lot going on out there, and there has to be somewhere for you to fit in, regardless of your skill set, regardless of your area of study. There are loads and loads of opportunities that exist in the agri sector. So I will encourage you to come on board, especially in Africa here, because we have a lot to do and there's enough for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Collins. We do appreciate that impactful and huge lecture. I must say, indeed, is packed with information that will enhance those of us who are thinking of going into agribusiness or who want to also further what we know in agri business. At this time, we have a lot of questions for our speakers. And the number one question I will ask from my hands before the audience start asking question is, what are the key competencies that someone needs to have before he or she go into agribusiness? So I would like you to react, and also Professor Alexandra should react to that also. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, in terms of competence, I think if you look at all the different parts of the chain that I walked us through, all of them require different, I use the word competence, their skill set. So you would try to get in where you fit in, like the Americans say. You are the one to look at, assess yourself. Maybe you already have a lot to do with respect to branding. Maybe you are exposed to production and maybe operations management. You can go into processing in terms of, So it depends on what skills you have. Maybe you're a tech person. You can go develop apps, presenting solutions, to people, engage people, find out what the problems are. Because you have technology, you can be more innovative to give them a lot of products which can solve problems. So you have to ask yourself, where do the frictions exist, and what competence do I have that I can bring to bear? And so you can't say that you must have this. The only thing I can tell you is, if you try to put more interest in agriculture, then it helps you to know where the frictions are. It helps you to know what the challenge is, and then you can know where to intervene. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Collins. Professor Alexandra, please, I would like you to react to that question. What are the key competencies an agri-professional should have? Thank you.
Okay, but as I said in the beginning of my presentation, what is important, of course, improve the competence in the part of the hard skill. That means the skill that we need in order to address the the key activities in our farm. But what is very important to identify which kind of business model we want to implement. What is important that we can use the technology in the best way in order to achieve our goal. Is of course, what is important in agriculture is to understand how the technology can help us to realize our business, our agricultural business. And another competence, another key competence is to understand the change in the marketplace. That means to understand how the consumer change, how the competition change, and how the needs of consumer and the demand of the market change, because the agriculture, the life cycle of agriculture is longer. If we think about the wine, the oil, a lot of products, production in agriculture needs a very long time, more than the industrial life cycle. But it's important that we use the technology in order to create efficiency and effectiveness approach. What is the difference from efficiency and effectiveness? Efficiency does mean that I use very well my resources. Effectiveness does mean that I I have the capacity to achieve my goals, to realize my plan. Is a very important competencies in agriculture, because the life cycles is long, and we need to create the condition in order to achieve our goals, to realize our plan, and to measure our result, and to measure the impact that we can to generate in the world, in our market, and for our customer.
Thank you very much, Professor. That's indeed insightful. And now it has been noted that agribusiness firms are evolving, and a lot of them are creating their own agric extension programs. In your own way, I would like you to, what's the motivation for these startups? What motivation do you have for the startups that are creating their own extension service?
Extension? I don't understand the question, sorry.
Okay. Most agri firms in Africa are creating their own extension services, and that is in order to reach farmers. So what motivation do you have for startups, those companies doing that? What motivation do you have for them?
But I think that the best motivation is that the situation in the agricultural sector is very, very changed from the past. Because today we can create a business or relationship with every part of the world. And I think that I can to decide in which part of world I want to do my business. I can to understand which kind of customer are right for me. In the past, usually I produce something, and I try to sell my products or my service to the market that I know, or to the market near of my firm, or to the country, or to the market that my competitor addressing. Today, with the new technology, I can to understand the right market for me, and I can to realize a business model, an innovative business model, where when I can to create a new value. Because this methodology is very, very interesting, that the name is a Blue Ocean Strategy. What is the Red Ocean? Is the marketplace where every firm, every companies try to beat each other only with the price. The red is the blue of the competitor. In the Blue Ocean, I try to understand a niche, a part of the market, not only near me, but the best customer for me, that understand my value, and I can create my value proposition in order to address a specific needs, a specific customer needs.
Thank you very much. Mr. Collins, please, I would like you to react to that question. What are your motivations to start off that are creating their own extension services?
I think First and foremost, why do they create those extension services? They create them because they want to be able to help the, whatever name we call them, to be able to help them with respect to best agricultural practices. They all aimed at helping them to increase their yield, and so it is good. I'll also say that they should, as much as possible, try to embrace techno-competitive, because a lot of products are also coming into that space which are challenging them and not be sorry, there's a lot of technology being deployed in that system. So they need to be aware of that. So as they go around doing what they're doing, they need to see what technologies they can use, because it can make them much more, their impact felt, the wider area. Because how many people are you going to deploy? You get what I mean? So
yes, sir.
my only advice is that they should always think technology and see what they can do, they can achieve much more in a shorter period using technology.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to believe during the course of your experience in agriculture and agribusiness, you face one or two difficulties. At this time, please, I would like you to share those difficulties to us and how you overcame the difficulties. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, I think one of the common ones is getting a market for your product.
Okay.
To get a market for your product, and that's why I think during the course of my engagement, I spoke about, don't ever assume that because people are selling things, for instance, you can see people selling eggs in the market. You think that when you bring yours, you're going to be able to sell it. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes there can actually even be a demand for that egg, and you're still unable to sell it. You need to recognize that, and in different ways to be able to mitigate that. In my own experience, part of what I did was to join different bodies, different organizations that are in that sector. So, I mean, those places also give you the different the platform to be able to engage on that level. So don't make a silo thing. Don't run isolated. Try to look out for groups you can join. Try to go for conferences. Try to go for seminars. Try to go and even webinars like this. You can make some contacts, and you need that. You need that networking to be able to get through that friction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Collins. Professor Alexandra, I would also like you to react to that. During the course of experience in agribusiness, kindly share one or two difficulties you faced and how you overcame.
But I think that the agribusiness is a very complex sector. Because yes, it's very, very complex. The industrial is more simple because it's more, we can create a plan and achieve this plan with our action. In the agribusiness, the difficulty is very, very, as a lot. I think that today, the two key goals that we need to realize as a single firm and as a community of agriculture is one, the food security, and participate to create a food security, and the second is to participate to the transition to the green economy, because we often think that the clinic that is an industrial problem, the green economy, and of course agriculture is green. It's not true. Okay, the transition to a green economy, if and implemented correctly from every sector, agriculture too, has the potential to create new jobs and the new development, and to create a very interesting jobs in agriculture too, not only in the industrial. If we think about the genetic resource, if we think about the planning, the use of the new technology, or the data science applied to the agriculture. One is important that the people that want to realize is I don't know, because often we think that only in the technology environment there are a big opportunity for young people. It's not true, but it's not simple for the agriculture sector to show to the young people the real opportunity in the sector. Hi, hello.
Hello, Ma. Thank you very much for that, Ma.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay, good. Yes, we have some participants that raise up their hands. Mr. Samuel, I'm going to mute you now. You can quickly just ask your question, please. Mr. Samuel, please kindly unmute yourself. Mr. Samuel, please kindly unmute yourself. Okay. Mr. Chuko. Mr. Chuko, please. Okay. Okay, Sim, I can't get.
Hello, good.
Hello. We have some questions.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me? My name is Mr.
Chuko. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, my name is Mr. Chuko. Though I think I joined a little bit late, but I heard Mr. Collins talking. So I want to ask Collins this question. He said the agricultural business is data-driven. So my question is, how can a starter get the data relating to agriculture so that he can use that to maybe to abreast itself about the agricultural business, especially understanding the agricultural life cycle, something like that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chuko. Mr. Collins, please, over to you, sir.
Hello, Mr. Chuko. Thank you for that question. I think, first of all, it starts with interest. Okay, so you must try to ensure that you have interest in what you want to do. And once you have interest, the first thing you see yourself doing, even without realizing it, is that you're poring over the internet, through books, through whatever means, trying to look for information. In Nigeria, you can get some of these statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics. For instance, every month, they publish, when you go, you see food pricing, you see the pricing per state and all of that. You can use that data depending on what you want to do. Maybe you want to sell, let's say, Gary. You know where Gary sells the highest, North States. You probably, there are a lot of some information out there that can help. Then also, I was speaking also with respect to agriculture, because even when you are on the farm, you need to keep a lot of data. You need to check the rainfall, throughout the cycles, when it falls, what quantity has fallen. You need to monitor. You need to keep data driven. There's all this data that over time, because even if you take the data for someone else, the environment might be different, yours. So you need to also try to keep those data around your vicinity to be able to, over the years, build it up and make predict, better maybe timing for your planting and also. So that's when I talk about being data driven. That's what I also mean. And you will never get all the data before you start, but at least you will ask a lot of questions. Even as you do your business plan, able to, you also have to have data to be able to know if this business is what you should do in the first place. I don't know if sorry.
Thank you very much, sir. Before I go to the question sent in the message, let me take this question from Mr. Abubakar. Mr. Abubakar, please kindly unmute and ask your question, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Shobande. My question goes to Professor Alessandra.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she was talking about the SDGs for agriculture.
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned about 3 levels: the key goals, then the complementary goals, and all that. In your key goals, you gave example of goal 2, 12, and 15. While in subsequent goals, I didn't hear you, or perhaps I missed the remaining examples. Like in the complementary goals, what are the examples of the complementary goals? And also the 3rd goal, level 3, the horizontal goals.
Okay.
We need examples so that we'll clearly understand and make up what you are saying. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the question. Very interesting question. For example, if you are a farmer, you can to decide to has a business goals to reduce your production cost, for example. And the production cost, you have the energy cost, okay? The energy is a very specific goals, and you can decide to realize this kind of efficiency in with use a new energy form, not for example, you can install the panel solar in your firm. In this case, you address not only a business problem, reduce the energy cost, but you realize this goal in a sustainable manner, because you use a different type of energy and address the goals number, I don't remember, could be the goal 7, the energy goals.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor. I want to believe Mr. Abubakar's question was rightly answered. The first question I have here from Dr. Ikechi Abuba, he said, what are the opportunities for Nigeria and Africa as a whole regarding the crisis in Russia and Ukraine? So what are the opportunities looking at the spike in price of food?
Who is he addressing the question to?
both of them, both speakers. So both speakers, Professor, please, can you answer that where Mr. Collins also answered? Let's get the international view from you, where Mr. Collins also give his own view.
Okay, can I try to answer to these questions?
Yeah, the question is that what
Yes,
are the opportunities? Yeah.
No, I understand the question. But,
Okay, very well.
Okay, I take an example for you. Okay, when we speak about the food security, we can use the World Food Program sentence. Food security exists when all people at all time have a physical and economic access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food that meets their direct need and food preferences for an activity and healthy life. The war in Russia and but the pandemic situation too make in evidence that is very urgent for us change the food system. And if we agree with the definition of food safety of World Food Summit, it's important for us to develop a new model and realize must increase in productivity and quality and a reduction of waste occurring through the food chain. Food security is after the pandemic period and the war, the problem of food security is more than before. And I think that for every country is an opportunity to define a different food system in order to react to this kind of problem.
Thank you very much, Ma. So, Mr. Collins, I would like you also to react to that question, sir.
Thank you very much. I think that the situation in Ukraine has once again exposed how delicate the food systems are and the impact that one or two countries have. And I think for diversification's sake, it's not advisable. Now we have skyrocketing price of fertilizer, and you know how direct that impact can be in production. Then we also have the crisis with wheat. Locally here in Nigeria, it can be an opportunity for us to actually look for local substitutes for some of those products that are really going haywire. For instance, wheat. I know that during 1999, thereabout, Passenger 2006, Passenger tried to, promote the policy on cassava flour being used for our bakeries, and I know there was a lot of kickback there. But there's also something we can go back to and explore here in Kenya, that is already being implemented. We can also, up to 10% inclusion can help. And then we begin to, think and grow things locally. So for me, I think it's a huge opportunity because when these grains are not coming in, go back, it's also, as I had spoken about during my session, I said we need to ask ourselves that question, especially in Nigeria. Do we want, what do we want to achieve? Do we want to produce enough food for everyone with security? Or do we want to create jobs? We have to agree on which one is the priority. I know that both are important. But what I'm saying is because if our policies are strategically targeted to food production, identify those players who already play on a large scale and give them the incentives, give them what they require to grow these things on a very large scale. We will see that food will be available in a short while. But to the extent that we try to keep using primordial archaic means to try to address food shortage, we'll keep running around. I don't think we'll be able to solve that problem. There's also an opportunity now existing. As this is skyrocketing, we can arrest this by strategic intervention to the sector direct where it matters, and you will see food surplus. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, I will allow Mr. Samuel to ask his question, though he has it in chat. Please, Mr. Samuel, can you unmute and ask your question? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to ask to the professor that this we have a young company in the agricultural sector that are not developed, but what should we do to find the sponsor who can help you in business in this crisis of food in the world? Because in DRC, I have more places. That is my question.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel. I want to believe it's asking that for those young people in agriculture and the agribusiness sector, how can they get partner? And what should they do to get partners to enhance their businesses? So, Mr. Collins, please.
Come again, sorry. How can we?
How can those
breaking up? Yeah. Right.
Those who are in agribusiness, how can they get partners to enhance their agribusiness?
Okay, how can they get partners? Okay, I think I spoke earlier about networking. Like I said, you need to be out there. You need to get on groups. You need to get on people that share similar interests with what you're doing or what you're trying to do. You know, hopefully you have one or two people who have that interest in what you want to do and what you're doing already. Be able to say, hey, what are you doing, and how can we share in the same interest? There's a lot of collaboration to do. You have to start locally first amongst your area. Try and engage, and also try to be out there attending things like webinars, going for nearby conferences, join local national bodies, respect to your own field, your own area. It's a gradual thing. You stumble into people that share the same thing with you and take it from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Collins. At this point, the time is not on our side again. I must appreciate Professor Alexander and Mr. Collins for this impactful section. Indeed, I must say it's so impactful, and it has changed my view about agriculture, even though I'm in it. It has also added a lot of feathers to my cap. I want to use this opportunity to thank Aro Business School for creating this beautiful platform for us to learn from professionals in the field. At this time, I would like to hand over to Ms. Olufunke Alaba as she took over from here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kende, for that wonderful moderation of the section. And thank you very much, everyone, for your participation in this section. Really appreciate. Mr. Collins, thank you so much. That was a very good, information and insight into agribusiness. And also, I will also extend my appreciation to Miss Professor Alessandra. At this point, I'm going to be calling out that is marketing director and marketing manager, who is going to be giving us more insight into the agribusiness and the benefits to those participating in this program. So I'm going to be calling on Christopher. Christopher. Okay, so we just have to hold on a few minutes for Christopher to join us. He's going to be giving us more insight into the agribusiness and also let us know more about the benefits of actually studying at Rome Business School, doing your program here in Rome Business School. Thank you so much. I think Christopher is here. Thank you. You can take it over to you.
All right. Can you hear me?
Very well. Go ahead, please. Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much, Funke, for the opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Kende, also for this powerful moderation. Thank you, Mr. Collins, for the insights you've shared so far. And also thank you, Alexandra, for the wonderful insight and knowledge you've also passed to our students and of course our prospective students. Okay, so at Rome Business School, what we do is, equipping professionals with the skill sets needed to thrive and take on the challenges of the 21st century business place. And our master's program, especially the master's in agribusiness, is tailored to give you in-depth and insights into what is trending within the agri space, and of course, not just looking at it from a theoretical perspective now, but looking at it from a business angle. Okay, how do you leverage on all of the opportunities available within the agri value chain? Okay, and of course, you also have opportunity to go for boot camps to IITA, that's the International Institute for Tropical Agriculture, to get more insight into everything as it relates to crop production. And of course, you also have opportunity to visit Obasanjo farms also, where you get insight into everything animal production. So all of these boot camps are targeted to widen your experience, give you the networking opportunity, and of course, ask strategic questions by meeting the consultants where they walk you through the various areas you need clarity on. Okay, master's program are very flexible. We also have other master's program, which you can take advantage of. They're very flexible. It's a year program, and classes hold 2 weekends every month for the duration of the program. Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sundays, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Okay. At the end of all of this program, you also be getting a double certification, globally acceptable certification, and internationally recognizable certification. There are also opportunities for international exposure through our international study tour to Rwanda, Kigali, Rome, Italy, and of course, even to Canada for this study tours. Okay, because we are focused on raising global business leader, we have 3 stages in this developmental phase. When you come on board for a master's program, we have the business leadership development program. That's the pre-master stage, where you'll be involved in different activities from webinars like this, Italian language classes, company visits, and of course, 3 career fairs and innovation labs. So all of this gives you opportunity, to basically understand and get value and a foretaste of what is to come upon commencement of the program. And during the program, you also be equipped with all of your didactic activities, the international study tour to Kigali, you have the soft skill program, and a host of other engagements you can be involved in. Okay, and at the end of the program, we have what we call the Global Leadership Development Program. This culminates in Rome, where you were taking on leadership training for 4 days, visit companies, get insights, and at the end of the day, you also be getting certifications in this. So all of this is to equip you at the end of the day to become a global business leader. Okay, so why not take one of our masters today? For more information, you can visit www.romebusinessschool.ng to get more insights, or you send a mail to info@romebusinessschool.ng to get further insights and take advantage of some special scholarship consideration that's also available to enable you come on board for either of our master's program. Okay, thank you so much for giving me this little opportunity to share insights. You can take it over, Mr. Kende. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Christopher, for the insight into the program, and also encourage those who have not joined the agribusiness program or any of the Rome Business School program to take advantage of the section, as it's something that is very good. And I encourage that we also reach out to Christopher on you can reach out, you can drop your phone number here, or also reach out to us on our various social media platforms. Also, from the messages that he has also provided, you can also reach out to us through all these various platforms, so we can help you and support you through your career, destination and advancements with Rome Business School. Thank you so much. Let's appreciate the speakers who are, taking their time to give us a lot of insight into the agribusiness. We can drop our chats and messages on the chat box by appreciating the time. And also, I also want to say a very big thank you to the students who participated here, both prospects and those who, everyone joining us on this section today. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate your contribution towards this section, and we look forward to having you in our next section. Once again, my name is Alabolu Afunke, and I'm the head of Career Service Rome Business School. I look forward to seeing you in the upcoming section. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much, Kainde. Thank you. Thank you, Alessandra. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Do have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.